it's a line coming directly from my leg into my arm, and if I can move my spine with it, this can be very good pushing cut. Shaman, if you're just that far away from him but stand behind him, just stay there. So I can teach anyone to do this within an hour, half an hour. It's just very basic body mechanics. And if you watch now what happens to my spine, it's going that way. So it's clearly a push. You would categorize this as a push. Right? So like that, even from no inch. Yeah, like that. Now if I did it harder, you're going to go on your ass and start sliding away. Now that's not, some people do that and they're like, oh yeah, Bruce Lee used to do a 1-inch punch and then I'll do a no-inch punch. And you get more of an effect. Bruce Lee's one was a strike. But the way Bruce does it,
he says like fencing, which now I understand why, because it looks like fencing.
It's like fencing.
It's going like this.
Yeah, because you're coming forward like this. It's a push, and you can, even if it was PJ, I can get the same, you can get the same effect on it, because it's just, that's how you push a car up the hill. You wouldn't push a car up the hill, you know, by standing there and just going like that, because it's going to bounce back at you. You create a platform to the floor, and you use that platform, and you move that platform forward this way, and you can start to get that pushing effect. Right? But Bruce Lee wasn't doing that. Bruce Lee was actually striking by a different way to what we do. Bruce Lee was doing this, if you hold it like that. So from here, now his spine wasn't going like that too much. Even if it wasn't lean, like he still would have to stand like this, but he's using imagine I have a rod, and I'll turn the base of the rod to extend, the base here to extend that rod. So he's using that. Right? So that is going to have a different, one might go back as much, so he would do it from here, right? Like that, but like that. You don't go back as much, but you get that, right? Like that, right? Whereas for our one, so that you require this and still connection to the ground. This one is 100% levering it from the ground. Because our one, theoretically, if we stand like this, that shouldn't be possible. Unless I go like that, and then fall forward. But if I'm standing like that and not doing a big, like Bruce's one, like that, then you don't get that same force. Right? So how is it that for us, you know, so this is relaxed, the joints relaxed, there's a straight line going up, so like this, by standing on one leg, how is it that we can still, like that, we're seemingly effortless, and I don't know, you probably couldn't hear it, but you went like that, you know, so you see, you go like that. It's not a push, like this would be a push. Nothing happens here, nothing enters, but the whole thing moves back because you're grounding and pushing, like pushing a cup. It's very interesting. Yeah, like that. Yeah. And if you want, and then that one, so the key thing is that one, you can start to gauge, not about how much I push or whatever, but you can gauge where to send the force and how far in. So let's say now here, I'll do the same thing, right? But you won't go back as much, right? If you want to, it goes like that, like it's even the limit. Yeah, it goes like that. Now this one maybe here,
whiplash as well.
Yeah, this one maybe goes down more. Further down, so you can start to, you can aim it to wherever you want to go. Well, theoretically, I can't really do that. But Sigmund was able to aim it like to that shoulder, But this is the beginning to be able to penetrate the force inside rather than push the force inside or thrust from the waist, you know, to get that kind of bruise. You see, that had more of an effect of if there was a chair, you would sit down. Again, but this is good. It's still a strike, you know. So from there, going like that, like Bruce, right?
Like that was tense in the lower part.
Tense, like if we talk tense or relax, it's just the way of using the body mechanics. This what Bruce is doing.
If it was one somebody pushing on the other side, he will fall.
Yeah, but if it was Bruce, he'd probably come up with some backflip or some shit. Yeah, he was very talented. He was an amazing martial artist. But the other one, this one, is still good, but it's more like that. It will still hurt. Get that in your nose, you know. So from here, as I'm standing like that, if you have to go like that, right? Maybe I have to touch your chest. You just have to parry me out of the way. Just parry my punch out of the way. Yeah. It's very hard to stop, but to get that kind of power, to get this kind of power, if people are using that method, I challenge them to, not challenge them, but I would ask them to make a video about how hard they can hit with that speed. This kind of speed is just good for throwing, touching. Yeah. Bruce's speed was different, like this method of like that, that one can get power. If you get a power, you get a lot of power. Now, our one, you know, this kind of thing, that one is, you can hear this. It sounds different. I'm not hitting hard. It sounds different.
It's so relative.
Well, because you don't have a pad. But if you hold a pad, you can really make a guy cough. Because you know what I mean? It's different. Someone goes, yeah, from here, I stop me from touching you. Yeah, maybe you can't stop me from touching you. But what good is that, really? Maybe even inspiring. I can go, point. But when it's someone coming in, doing all this kind of stuff, can you do this kind of stuff to them? You need to be able to get that kind of, you know, which is what I'm trying to spar more to try and put into sparring. It's very different when people say 1 inch punch, no inch punch, but really, if you look inside, the biomechanics is completely different. There are 3 different ways. That Bruce's was really good too. Like that. But you can see the explosiveness. This one you don't see much happening. It's just like that. The other one it requires that speed. If you stand sort of strong, the other one requires. If I did it slowly,
it was fun.
Yeah, still can move him back. Stand solid. Still can move him back, right? The other one, this one, it's like this. If I did it slowly, send it out like that. If you hold strong. But if you suddenly jump out of the way, of course it's going to be like that because I'm transferring this line that way. Push forward. So if you move out of the way, of course it's going to. And if you parry me out of the way, maybe I'm too fast to fight. But even if you parry, I have to yank it back from it. So parry a little slower. I have to yank it out of the way so I can do something different. So I can bring this back, right? Whereas this one, again, standing like this on one leg, just if you stand solid, very slowly, right? Very slowly. It's very hard if you feel it. It's very hard to understand and believe it, especially if it's on camera. How is it that I'm using? I'll use one finger. How is it that with one finger I'm balancing on one leg and there's no up and down? So to prove I'm not leaning. But if this moves forward, you can see what's happening there. Not magic, not airy-fairy, not woo-woo. It's just a very clever way of using your joints. Every joint is warped. A lot of the joints are active, like the bicycle cock, the bicycle chain, around 6 or 7 cocks, if I can use 6 or 7 joints. Right? And they move, the cocks all move at the same time. Imagine the power in that chain. One finger, 2 fingers like that. Whereas if it's like, okay, you got all these cocks, but with all those cocks, you link them together with tension. So there's tension in the chain. That's like you have all those cocks, but you hold the chain and pull them to move the cocks. So my joints are moving, if it's doing this way, the joints are moving either like a whip, where it's just like one cog moves like a wave. Like Sistema has like a wave, right? So like this. Very fast, and it can be powerful at the end of it. But you stop it halfway, you have to go around, right? Because it's one joint, then that joint stops moving, maybe a little bit inactive, and the next one, like a whip, goes through like that. It's not instantaneous, right? Whereas when you have all of them that instantaneously going, isn't that the most efficient way to utilize if joints were cogs? Isn't that the most efficient way? But how do you do that without relaxing it? How do you get that control without relaxing? You can't. Because then the chain is stuck to the cogs and you have to loosen it up so you can get individual control of the cogs, of the joints. So it's not woo-woo. I mean, you understand it better than me. You know, with your chiropractic background, yeah, you understand the joints, but I don't know if the science has found how to tap, like Siegel would say, is using ligaments to connective tissues. So I don't know if they've found, if there is a way that without the muscular force, if they haven't, yeah.
But I can muscle test babies. 2 or 3 months old, I can get feedback with them.
Yeah.
They have no volitional control, but I can do it because they relax.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas with the adults, right, if they're strong, I can't get a weak.
Yeah, there's a resistance concept.
Yeah.
Can't enter, can't penetrate. So look at a cat, the way a cat moves. You know, it's the same. And along with all of that, with that mechanism working, then you have, we all have a mass. I've got 70 kilos. If you put 70 kilos of mass within the cog analogy, isn't that equal to a lot of power? So you're accelerating, if you just talk about mass times acceleration, the best way to get the most acceleration in that chain is to move every cog simultaneously, right? So acceleration, and if you can relax and tap into your mass, right? And then the cogs aren't linked. The chain analogy is the best because then the cogs are all linked to the chain. The chain can either go one way or the other way. But the joints actually don't work like that. Like it's just one line of one chain like this. The joints can individually move in different directions to create different vectors of force. So then you have that in application in terms of physics. You have The contact point is a fulcrum, and you have all these different vectors of force that you can go. You can create multi-vector forces with the cogs working together, but in different directions, plus your mass behind it. So it's no wonder why an 80-year-old, 55-kilo man could do what he could do to us stronger guys. But then you see it on the internet, people say, BS, it's not possible. Because you look at it from your own glasses of, hold on, I can't do that and with one finger do that. That's got to be, there must be, then they categorize it as some of the other people, which if you move, they go like this. Or the extreme of the no cheat touch thing. They categorize what Seagull's doing to that. But he was explaining it all in terms of physics, but there's some parts where they haven't found out, can you actually control the joints with the ligaments, etc. And the niblick, the cheek stuff, he didn't even go into. He said, I don't even know what it is. I don't know if it is cheek, but you can feel it. You can feel something. I know I can do this, but I don't even know what it is. It was very scientific in that way. You guys, in the field, we haven't even, as science hasn't even figured out the potential of the body, the mind. How much, we don't even know how some of the things work in the mind. So,
I see. What Bruce was doing was very powerful, but just to understand the difference, it's only one direction. So it's very powerful there.
Yes, but I think the way that the control that Bruce had,
it could change.
It could change very fast, and even if you parried him, he was a remarkable martial artist. He was a maniac when he trained. So muscularly, he would be able to change things, and even if you parried him, I think he would just go very fast. If you parried me, he'll just go like that. Something will come out. It's very good at, but it still wasn't this. Like you can see it wasn't that, and he would say, just before impact, you need to clench. The way when I did Bruce's one, I need to, because I'm using now, I need to go like that, I need to clench, like that. Whereas this one, you don't need to clench. If I had to clench, then my fingers would break. I was just saying with fingers, right, if you're holding strong, latching you back with two fingers, how is it possible, again, hold strong, how is it possible to do something like this, right? But it's possible because we have babies which hold with 3 fingers and you lift their whole body up. So as human beings, if you don't tense, you can't hang off 2 fingers, your entire body. If I can hang if this can support 70 kilos, then 70 kilos coming at you like that, of course you have to move. But the problem is, for some reason, we think martial art, we think ego, I have to be able to move it, or shit, people watching, cameras on, I'm going to try harder. And as soon as that happens, things start to go on. Compared to something like that.
The clench looks good on the screen.
The clench looks good, yeah. Especially if you've done a workout before.